Hey everyone, another video on Autodesk Certified User Certification Exam for Fusion 360. We're going to look at another spotlighted exam objective, and the one we're going to look at is dealing with under the assembly modeling category called interference. So interference is going to allow us to see what kind of components maybe have issues with one another as they collide or maybe are running into one another. So I'm going to go ahead and go into Fusion. I'm going to open up a new design here. And just for the creation of it, I'm going to start with a new component. I'm going to call this cube. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a cube maybe about 4 inches by 4 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude this to be 4 inches as well. So here's our cube shape. I'm going to go ahead and create I'm going to go back up to the top level assembly. I'm going to create another component. We'll call this sphere. And with this, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a shape. And actually, let's go ahead and do a little offset plane. So this would be, so I'm going to offset this by 2 inches since we did a 4-inch depth. And I'm going to create it on the work plane. If the cube gets in the way, let me hide the visibility. There we go. Now I can choose the work plane, turn the cube back on, and I'm going to go ahead and draw a line right on the edge of the cube. And I'm going to go ahead and do let's do a circle here. I'll set the center right there on the midpoint of the line. Click on the outside edge, and let me trim away the inside of the circle there. And I'm going to finish the sketch. Let me revolve the shape about the line axis there, and I'll say OK. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate the top level assembly. So here is kind of our two components that we have that we've modeled together. So they are two separate components. What we can check for, especially as you look for assemblies, is I'm going to go to the inspect panel, and I'm going to go down to interference. So I'm going to go ahead and select the cube, and I'll select the sphere, and then I'm going to go ahead and have it click compute, and it's going to be able to see that yes, I do have one interference, which is a lot of times that within the Fusion 360 Autodesk Certified User Exam, they want you to identify how many groups of interferences. So right now we've got one interference, and if we take a look, if I move this out of the way, we can see the area in red is the area that is going to be having the interference. So that gives you the volume, how much volume is being, the two components of how much interference there is between the two, and what components are causing the issue. So that is really the basics of running the interference analysis tool under the inspect panel. So you could do this with a lot of components by clicking on them and being able to check to see on their movements, but this is one way to go through and see that and to know. Again, for the exam, they really ask, can the students go through and read what those interferences are, how much of a volume maybe that there is, and maybe how many groups. So if I had multiple components in there, I would be able to see there's maybe more than one group that's kind of going on as well. So that's a little bit on the interference analysis within Fusion 360. So hopefully this was a good informational video for you in preparing for your ACU exam. If you have questions or anything, feel free to contact me. But until then, check out other videos and keep preparing so that way you can be successful in your ACU exam.